Hello, everybody. We're about to get started. Got Mike Minotti here for once.
Yeah, we're switching it up. Can you feel the mic on?
All right. Let's see. Got a question, everybody. Can you feel it?
I think they can feel the sunshine.
All right, let's get started. I got that. I have stream elements. I'm just gonna log in there.
Can you put the pee-pee on the food? Man, I'm 36 years old.
All right, Mike. I'm going to bring this up for everybody. Everyone, get ready. Brace yourselves. I'm wearing a hat. I'll take the hat off here in a second. We'll show everybody.
Wow, you look the same when you wear a hat.
Probably, yeah.
I know that works.
All right, let's see. Any last things I need to do? No, I think I'm good.
Why is Mike's beard still there? Look, that yesterday was just, I don't know, I'll do it later today. Should I do a mustache or should I just do it all? I guess I'll do
You know me,
mustache
I'm
first.
always going to say mustache.
Yeah, we'll do mustache first, see how it goes.
Okay. Mike, let's do this thing. You ready? Actually, you know what?
Yes.
I knew I was forgetting something. Let me get the let me test the music.
Yeah. Don't forget to get the stream elements ready for Super Chat.
Yeah, I got that right here. We're good there.
I'm not wearing a Jeff. I could be wearing a Jeff Wig. I have his hair. We'll have to talk about that in a second.
Hey, you guys hear me?
All right, there's that. We are doing Nintendogs. Mike, could you hear it?
Yes, I could hear it.
Okay. I figured, you know what? Let's just get started. It's a break week. Let's make this a fast one. You good to go?
Oh, I always go fast.
All right, I'm going to count us in. 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I'm a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, Sports Story is out. Rest in P, Chocobo GP. That's cute. We're talking about our favorite Last of the Nintendogs memories of the year. But first, Jeff.
What's your problem? What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I think everything's great. I think everything's gone exactly according to plan. Nothing's wrong at all.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good too. I hung out with you last night. I went to a party that you invited me to in a different city. And I was like, I'll drive there. This will be a good time. And then I got there and I started drinking. I'm like, if we had clippers here, I would just do the whole cut my hair now. And the host, Dave, was like, oh, I've got clippers. And he comes back with the shittiest clippers.
They were so small.
They were so bad. They were like not for hair, not for like actual hair.
Yeah, there's this like actual like Dollar General scissors, and then like the smallest trimmer you have ever seen in your life.
So, of course, I said, yeah, that's fine. Let's go for it. And we went out in the garage, and you had the honor to cut off my hair. When you began cutting, what were you thinking?
This is weird. Well, it was fun. So we went in the garage to do it, and there were already a bunch of people partaking in certain substances in the garage when we got in there.
It's a reminder. I did this because I said Metroid was going to come. The Metroid Prime remaster was going to happen this year, and if it didn't, I would cut my hair. So
yeah,
you all know this, but just to recap.
we went to the Ohio Garage Hotbox with all of these people who had just met Jeff, many of which, for some reason, thought Jeff was from Vegas.
Yeah,
so,
I was Vegas Jeff the whole night.
So people were going, "Oh, it's Vegas Jeff." That's his name, Vegas Jeff. So Vegas Jeff's there. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna cut Jeff's hair." They're all like, "Why? Why?" They're all very confused. So I just started whacking. Well, so before I started doing it, Dave, the host's one cousin, was like, I'm a barber. Like, I have stuff.
I was not privy to this conversation.
And I was like, no, I have to do it. Pushed him away. I was like, get out. Like, no. Like, you're kind of bothering me, actually. Could you stop? So then I just start whacking it off with the scissors, just kind of wherever I can. That trimmer did not work very well, so just kind of hacking it. Then eventually Jeff learned about the actual barber who was there.
Especially after the clippers, the battery ran out on them. So it's like they're just getting stuck in my hair, and like
it's probably
I can hear them like sputtering, and I'm like, this is a nightmare. Most of my hair is cut off, but I'm sure I look like an absolute mess. And the barber at a certain point was just like, I can't take it anymore. If someone goes and gets my stuff, I will do it. And I'm like, well, yes, of course we're doing this. Like, and then I found out later,
I did go and get the stuff.
Yes, you did. I found out you told him not to say anything, or you didn't want his help. I'm like, oh my god, I could have killed you.
Well, I thought it had to be me. Nobody wants to see some rando cutting your hair off.
No, you're right. You're right.
You have to think about the content, Jeff. Now, granted, after we got some good shots of me cutting your hair off, I was like, okay, now the professional can actually do it. So let's see it, Jeff. Let's see the handiwork between me.
Off.
Yes. That's what we got here. Because honestly, I was surprised that it actually looks pretty good. Somebody said you look like Mick Foley, and you look very much like that Pacific era of Mick Foley when he cut his hair that first time. Oh yeah, that's very true. But yes. But you have all your teeth unlike him though. So
that's right. My hair still almost kind of connects to my eyebrows there with that proceeding hairline.
No, you just have that really like pronounced I don't know edge thing. I do not have that.
Yeah,
obviously.
I had a girlfriend's mom once say that I had the same hairline as Joe Piscopo, and that always stuck with me. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't even recognize
weird
hairline so much.
Feel weird losing that much hair, having that much less hair?
Yeah, you know what? It didn't feel as weird as I thought, but now that I'm like rubbing my head on the back of this chair, that does feel weird. So yes, the answer is yes. This is weird. It's kind of like I'd had long hair for a very, very long time. I had not cut it this short since I worked at the Kroger warehouse, which was long before I was even like writing about games kind of at all. And that's so more than a decade, basically. So yeah, this feels very strange, especially when it does bump against something. But most of the time, overall, I'm surprised how much I cut it off. I'm like, oh no, I still just look like Jeff.
Yeah, I thought it would be like this weird thing. Like, oh, I'm not gonna even recognize you. That's with your headphones on like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically just looks like how you look when you tie your hair back.
Yeah, when I put my hair up. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same. Yeah, I did get home late last night, so everyone was in bed. So this morning I woke up, went upstairs, and my wife saw, and she was kind of saying I shouldn't cut it, and she didn't want me to, so she's been giving me grief all day, but she's coming around. And then my kids, Addie was just like, all right, that's fine. I'm like, hell yeah. Emmy saw it, and she was like, no. That's kind of what she said. She said no, and I'm like, she said, well, you need to get it back. And then she made a frowny face, and the frowny face she does is one where she it's the biggest frown, and she's like trying not to cry at the same time. And then she did start crying and say, go away, I want you to go away. Now she's like almost completely over it. She's already used to it. So it was kind of traumatizing for a moment. But
other kids, they cry about everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's
but, all right.
It was. I felt very lucky that there was a barber there, though, because if it wasn't, it was going to look way worse than this.
Oh, so, yeah. It's going to look terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're lucky. So it all worked out. Yeah, you get. Your hair's still very thick. It's going to grow back just fine. It's going to be a fun process that we'll get to document it.
You get to see some of the fun in between parts, but when it's when it's short, this is fine. When it's long, it's fine. Some of the in-between stages, I'm going to look real dumb. So I can't wait for that. There will be a lot of hats on this podcast.
All right. Well, now that we've gone through all that whole thing, Jeff, we only have a couple news stories.
If we would have just said the direct was coming in September, Mike. We could have just said that. We could have just said the direct was coming in September.
That right. And then we had to fuck up
and
these
we had
other
to fuck
things.
up. In fact, fuck around and find out. We really did.
Yeah, that back nine of 2022 is interesting for us there.
Absolutely.
But you get through it. There was a bit there where I felt like I can never show my face in this industry again. Right?
Yeah, now it's like
that's always how it feels like at its worst. It's like, all right.
Most people are just like, it's fine. Now it's just a joke or whatever.
Yeah, we've all moved on.
Yeah.
But speaking of moving on, that's not a good transition. But hey, Sports Story's out.
Yeah, that was exciting.
I didn't think it was going to happen, but that actually happened.
Once they started doing that indie thing, I was like, this is probably going to be the last one, because they would have announced a delay if it wasn't going to be part of that. I felt like, but that was like 2 days into that. I'm like, that realization came to me. So yeah, that was it was exciting that it did happen, though. I still haven't really touched it. I was going to play it on stream, and then I got distracted and busy. So I think I might do it tonight a little bit. Actually, I might play some tonight on stream. But I've heard mixed things. A lot of people saying that it feels like, even though it took forever, it still feels in some ways kind of rushed out. I'm like, I gotta see what they mean by that, really. But Golf Story was always this weird sort of outlier where it was this indie game that launched pretty close to the beginning of the Switch. And it was a sports RPG, just like Mario Golf was on Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. And so it's like I always feel like had this really strong home territory feeling on a Nintendo system. And so it did very, very, very well, like abnormally well for a game of that type. And so well that the developers just never put it anywhere else. They just released it on the Switch. And now this game comes out. It's right there on the Switch. And now it's like, well, things have changed a little bit. There are a lot more games available on the Switch. Are people going to pay the same amount of attention? Now, I think obviously there's fans of Golf Story who were going to always pay attention, but I think Golf Story's got that benefit of even people who might not have cared about these were just like hearing the buzz and were just buying anything they possibly could that was coming out of the Switch. I mean, I bought Neo Turf Masters on my Switch back then because I was just like, hey, a new game. Right. I'll play this old Neo Geo game on my Switch, and I just am not treating my Switch in that same way anymore. So I just wonder if this game's missed its window a little bit, or even if it hasn't, like, is it going to live up to that same magic just based on quality? And I don't know.
I think critically it never will. I think it's going to do okay sales-wise just because there are so many people who did play Sports or Golf Story. I mean, I bought it impulsively. Like, oh, this came out. Well, now I have to buy it. And you're kind of thinking, like, I mean, I don't really want to play this right now. I got other things to get to. And now hearing that maybe it's a bit buggy, I'm going to probably just wait anyways. It's weird because, like, this and River City Girls, too, were these two indie games that, like, or smaller games that, like, oh, they're coming out this year. Are they actually coming out this year? And they both did, but maybe in rough states to the point it's like, well, you guys didn't actually have to come out this year. It would have been okay if you needed to wait a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't feel necessary there at the end there. It didn't feel like,
right.
I'm talking to some fans, they made it feel that way, but not really.
Yeah, I guess it can always, because everyone's like, oh, Sports Story, a lot of people are like, I'm so excited for Sports Story, and has it come out this year? Everyone freaking out about it, games that you haven't heard about it, but, that stuff always passes so fast. Again, Elden Ring was a game that people were furious about that we hadn't heard about it in a while, and did that end up mattering? No, eventually the game comes out, and everyone's real happy. If you're like a Microsoft and then it turns out you haven't released a game in
sure, yeah,
a year and a half, then it's a problem. For most other people, you can still get away with delaying your stuff. It'll be fine.
I'll check it out. I'm still excited about this game. I was enjoying the little bit of Soccer Story, a very similar game that came out that I played. I'll play Sports Story and probably be pretty happy with it. I'm still guessing, but I'll find out next time I stream, because it'll be the game I play.
Hey, there's a lot of people watching live, by the way. Thank you so much, everybody.
Certainly.
If you are watching live, please hit that thumbs up button. Help more people find the show, especially at this kind of awkward new hour. We're doing it this week while we're all on vacation, kind of holiday vacation. And also, if you are watching live, you can send a super chat. You can ask us a question. You can just relay some kind of message, whatever you want to do. We got a couple already. Thank you all so much for tuning in. All right. Next thing and last thing here, Jeff, newswire, really. Square Enix has already planning to ditch Chocobo GP. It's a racing game for the Switch. This is just 9 months after release, and that means it's the end of large-scale updates for it, essentially. So, I don't know. People ask me, well, what's your most disappointing game of the year? And I can't ever remember. This would be the answer. This was a game I was really looking forward to.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, then I played it and it was awful.
Right, I do remember that. I remember you not being happy with it. And then it sort of just like fluttered by in that moment, and I never really thought about it again.
Right, I completely forgot about. I mean, it was so bizarre how short the tracks were. In a point, like in a kart racer with items and stuff, it's like things need to be longer just to kind of even out luck and whatnot.
Right.
Because if it takes like a minute to do a race, like you get hit by one item while you're done. It also just had a really aggressive monetization for a premium price game. So yeah, it seemed like a lot of people weren't really happy with it anyways. Probably did not do what Square Enix was hoping. So support is ending for it. Not a giant surprise.
No, I mean, especially considering who this is, Square Enix again with another one of these, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Man, Forspoken's happening soon, huh?
Yeah,
I'm Square Enix.
I want to play that demo. I should because I want to see for myself. Okay. So I mean, I have heard some people be like, I enjoy it, but I've also heard people be like, this seems, I don't know, like it's missing something. So I want to go kind of see for myself and build up some expectations that way. But I mean, overall, Square Enix is going to have those big games, hit or miss. We'll see with the big games, but a lot of these smaller ones have just been so weird and completely missing the mark. And missing the mark in a really hard way, in a way that a lot of smaller games come along and they just don't find an audience. And that seems like, okay, yeah, sometimes games come out and they don't find an audience. Square Enix games just feel like their smaller games somehow still create these big explosions where they just find ways to crash spectacularly.
It is incredible how many big flops they're able to just sort of survive.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's some repercussions like having to sell your Western studios.
Yeah.
But it does basically feel like that Final Fantasy 14 has kept that company afloat, and maybe we would be in this bizarre world where a Square Enix would have to go bankrupt or sell itself. But because they have Final Fantasy 14 money, things are okay enough. They can kind of chug along.
I mean, they probably would have sold anyhow if the economy didn't go kind of wacky there in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So.
You think those rumors about PlayStation looking at them were true?
I'm sure they were in conversation. I'm sure that the talks were happening. How close they were, no idea, zero idea. But I think that Square Enix thought they were serious enough to warrant selling off the Western studios to streamline themselves for acquisition. And then when the acquisition didn't happen, it's like, well, that's weird. But it wasn't too weird if you looked at the macroeconomic situation. But if I'm
always looking at the macroeconomic situation.
It's honestly it's pretty annoying about you. That you're always doing that.
People get a little tired of it. Hey, Nick Turbo's right, actually, by the way. Almost forgot about this. Yuji Naka was officially indicted now.
Yes.
Turns out he spent about $900,000 on insider trading or what have you. So, I mean, it's beginning to look like Yuji Naka might actually go to jail, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
He's in Japan, so people always point out, it's like, even if he doesn't go to jail, just these indictments, these being arrested is enough to pretty much ruin his career in Japan.
Man, that's fucked up that his career wasn't already ruined after Balan Wonderworld.
Yeah, that's fair. He did put out Roll 2046, which is a weird game he made in Unity after Balan Wonderworld, and he made that by himself pretty much, and that's one of the few games I still have on my phone. That game's not a crime, but it does feel like the kind of thing that you make in a prison workshop.
Not a crime.
It's not a crime, but it does feel like something that you made in a prison work program. It is continues to be funny and strange and uncomfortable a little bit because it's like, man, this guy fucked up real bad. I guess he is just legit gonna go to jail. Almost $1 million in insider trading. Probably at that point, I'm like, oh yeah, that does feel like a big crime. Actually, that does feel like defrauding the public. So
more than I would have thought. If you had told me how much money you think Yuji Naka was investing in insider trading, I'd be like, five digits, right?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder he got caught though, right? That's the stupid thing to do. There's probably a ton of insider trading happening all the time. A lot of it goes unnoticed because people probably don't we're not going to do almost $1 million in it. Obviously, that's going to raise red flags. I bet $900,000 by Yuji Naka raised a very big red flag.
Yeah, there's Sonic creator there, one of the Sonic creators, almost a billionaire, I guess. I mean, you'd have to assume he's a millionaire, right? If he has $900,000 to spend on that sort of
yes,
thing.
I ask you all the time, just how rich is somebody like a Yuji Naka or a Sakurai, right? I always wonder these things. Hideo Kojima, what's Hideo Kojima's net worth? We don't really know.
Yeah,
I don't know how rich you get to be because you created a famous video game character.
Yep, I have no idea, but enough to do this big of an insider trading.
All right, Jeff. Well, that is it for our short little news stories here.
Excellent.
Why don't we see what kind of questions we got from our listeners for this week? How's that sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, then. From Who Even Knows Anymore? What's going on? Mike, Kingdom Hearts is good. Minionati and Jeff, I'm so into mouth skills. Grubb, is Xenoblade Chronicles X ever coming to the Switch? I think so. I think certainly so. I think that Monolith Soft, they did Xenoblade Chronicles 2, then the DLC, then they remade 1 and did like a DLC like additional campaign for that. So my guess, and then we had 3. My guess is that after they do this DLC for 3, there will be some kind of remaster or remake of Xenoblade Chronicles X that they will work on before going to like their next brand new original game.
Sounds right.
Dan Likes Everything says, what's good, Mike? I've got good taste in Final Fantasy games. Minotti. Thank you. I almost said Minionati, even though he didn't write it. That's fucked up.
It should just be your name. Just like I'm Vegas Jeff.
Vegas Jeff. By the way, I have a bag of Jeff's hair because he left it at the... first he told me he left a hat. I went to get the hat. Then he's like, also, I left my hair. It's like,
I was sitting at the IHOP so I could like make sure I was fully sobered up for a drive home and get some food. And then I'm like remembering, I left a bag of my hair just on the floor somewhere. Mike, get my hair. It was a very funny sentence to write to somebody.
I was like, I don't really want to, but I also can't just leave just here. So fuck, I guess I gotta take it. It's still in my car. Like I don't want to bring it in the house.
It's in my car. Excellent.
And Jeff, I only played 1/3 of Nier Automata Grubb. This is my first question on the Discord ever. Oh, thank you, Dan. How much have either of you immersed yourself in Zelda lore / timeline theories, etc.? I'm a real pervert when it comes to this stuff. I think I'm subscribed to at least three YouTube channels that are mostly devoted to it, and the Breath of the Wild has surpassed Wind Waker as my favorite Zelda of all time, based solely on the sheer amount of world building / subtle lore nods implications in the game's world. Tears of the Kingdom is my most anticipated game of 2023, if only because of the amount of content that will be generated around it. I used to enjoy that stuff, Jeff. And then when like the official one came out, I read that and got into it. When Breath of the Wild came out, it was so weird. Like they spent all that time officially establishing a timeline, and then like the next game after that, or like the 2 games after that, Breath of the Wild was the most just actually fuck the timeline again game ever. So it's like, well, I mean, okay, it's hard to because obviously. It's not like they always had this timeline in mind. They kind of had to reverse engineer some of it. And it was a little goofy. It was one thing to have this split with Ocarina of Time be like, well, here's the adult Link and the, child Link. But then they're like, oh, and then there's the Link fails timeline. I'm like, well, that has nothing to do with like the 2 different time eras. Now you're just talking about possibilities. So how is that a separate timeline necessarily? Okay. Whatever. So, I find it kind of interesting, but also recognize it's pretty dumb.
Yeah, I've never really spent much time looking into it because it's like, that stuff is always good as set dressing when I'm playing the game, but I don't need to think about it too much because I know they didn't think about it too much. It's not to say that you can't have interesting things to say about it. I just mean I probably won't have anything interesting to say about it, so I'll avoid it.
I mean, I like when they do. I kind of like when there is a little bit of a timeline. I do like when they sort of get a little cute with it. Like things like that guy who teaches you some sword fighting moves in Twilight Princess actually being like the Zelda from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I mean, or the big one is like all the people that you go to collect are the names of the towns in Zelda 2, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. Like I like when there are these connections, and sometimes I even like those connections more than when it is like just straight up like, oh, this is the direct sequel to Wind Waker. Although granted, when Link Between Worlds being like a direct sequel to Link to the Past was really good. So I don't know. It's all a bit of a mess. Jayden says, hey, Jeff, my house is a Kirby fan club. Grubb and Mike, the Nintendog moment of the year, are going to be about me. Naughty. No question this week, but I am very excited for the new year with not only new games, but starting my first full-time job 8 months after finishing university. I hope you both have an amazing new year, and thank you both so much for all of your hard work and amazing content. The podcast and community has kept me going through these rough months of job searching. Congratulations, Jayden. I hope you enjoy that new job. I hope it all goes well for you. Have a good new year. Screaming Madden says, hello, Jeff. Remaster Sonic R. Damn it, Grubb. And Mike, April O'Neil's biggest simp, Minotti. Yeah, that can't be true. Everybody's a simp for April O'Neil.
That's true.
One must be bigger than me. Before 2022 ends, I want to know, what are you two Nintendogs' favorite gaming moments or achievements of the year? Doesn't have to be a Nintendo game. It could be anything old or new. Perhaps the achievement I'm most proud of this year is 100%ing one of my all-time favorite games on Steam, Cook Serve Delicious 3. The last achievement in that game has only been attained by 1% of players on Steam. Thank you guys for all the great podcasts and discussions, and happy 2023. Jeff, I don't know if you've heard this, but I became a top 100 neon white player in the world this year.
Cool. Moving on from that, it does have to be this year. Is that what the question was?
Yeah, this year.
I don't think I achieved much this year because you stole my thunder in neon white, so completely destroyed all my confidence, and I've been trying to recover ever since.
That alone was a pretty big achievement of mine. Just destroying your self-confidence. I was pretty proud of that. Hosp says, hey, yo, dogs. I was very pleased to see Sports Story released right before Christmas, but it got me wondering if this timing is a help or a hindrance. Not sure the House of Indies event got much notice with casuals. And honestly, Jeff, I didn't really understand what that was or know that it was much of a thing. So
yeah, I don't know if the House of Casuals, House of Indies thing. I don't know if that was always going to be the thing, but I think the timing probably is pretty beneficial to a digital game because you come out 2 days before Christmas. And then you are probably still one of the front page games on many of the tabs on the eShop the day that people open up their Switch on Christmas. So they're going to get games with their Switch. People get a new Switch, you get games with it. But one of the next things you might do is, well, we're not going to the store today. It is Christmas Day, so we are going to open it up, go online. Let's go in the eShop and see what's on there. Oh, look, this Sports Story is number 1 on featured and number 1 or number 2 on the most bought game right now. And that helps it. So, especially for a digital-only game, that's pretty huge.
And then Mr. Boris says, happy last Nintendogs episode 2022. At the beginning of the year, both of you guys had Nintendo New Year resolutions that I'm sure you remember.
Oh, no.
Jesus, oh, no. This is going to be bad. Oh, no, Jeff, this is off. Mike's wants to play Golden Sun, and Jeff's wants to play all 3 games in the Mother series. So what I want to know
is... my resolution for 2023.
You both kept your Nintendo New Year resolution, right? I think I also independently promised to play Earthbound at some point this year. Yeah, look, turns out very hard to find time to play random old JRPGs these days.
I will make this my resolution again. Someone remind me that I said that, so I'll play. Oh wait, but let me just at least one of the Mother games. How about that?
Why don't you just say Mother 3 or Earthbound? Yeah,
I'll do Earthbound.
I don't think you want to play Mother
Earthbound.
Origin.
I'm gonna do Earthbound and then maybe Mother 3.
Someday when Mother 3 actually does come out, do you think they're gonna call it Earthbound 2 over here?
I bet at this point they would just call it Mother 3.
I don't know, because like when they brought over Mother 1, they didn't just call it Mother, they called it Earthbound Origin.
But
so what?
Well, okay.
I mean, it was like 10 years ago when they first did that, right? Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
It's tough to say.
It might be Mother Earthbound 2 or something like that.
Oh, it was like Earthbound 2 Mother. Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Like Resident Evil did that, right?
A Knives Out story, yeah.
Yeah. Velocity Prime says, happy almost New Year's Eve to the dogs. With Glass Onion now up on Netflix, I must ask if you were tasked with creating a crossover game featuring the wonderful world of Grace Detectives, Holmes, Poirot, Marple, right? Columbo, Blanc. What would the game be like, and what left field choice would you go for the roster? I mean, I would make it either basically exactly like Hitman or basically exactly like Hotel Dusk. Those are kind of the only 2 places I'm going there. And then I would also want to put Phoenix Wright in there in the cast. I don't know if that's super left fieldy, but I would like to see him as part of that entourage.
Mine would just be Power Stone or Gang Beasts, and I would just have them fight.
Man,
with no solving any mysteries. Just have Columbo fight Poirot. Yeah.
Sometimes Jeff's answer is so much better than mine that I get mad because yes, an arena fighter.
Yes,
with
an arena fighter.
That'd be incredible.
Yes.
What the hell?
I guess maybe evidence could be stuck around the audience. Yeah, and Enola Holmes, that's a good one versus CPU. I haven't watched that. I can't wait, actually, now that you mentioned that. That would be a fun one to watch soon.
Benji Glasky says, hey, Piss Teeth, are you proud of me? No, that is by far the worst thing you have ever called us. How dare? Oh, that's gross.
Powerful stuff. Powerful bad.
Yeah, we gotta back off now. We can't go.
Yeah, you've reached the wall. I am proud of you for that, but we found the wall. Here it is.
To be clear, this is not me prompting you to go further. Yeah, no more this far and no further, please. Woo. Lenny, Cool Dick Denver, who is not problematic at all. Good job, Lenny. You keep moving forward.
God, what a cool dick.
You. Yeah. Hey, Beef Lords, what's the deal with Ohio? Do we really need it?
I mean, need is a very strong word, so I'm going to say no.
Needs a strong word. What do we need?
Yeah, really.
Ohio, you need water.
Yeah, you don't need Ohio. You need water, not Ohio.
Yeah, you need water, not Ohio. We can put that on the state flag. Major Yorha says, hey, guys, how am I supposed to pick my favorite Nintendogs moment? And also, I really don't mean to be pushy about it, but Jeff, the CRT I have is a sharp 27-inch with no remote. I sent you more details on the Twitter. Oh, is he trying to sell you a CRT?
I'm going to look into it. Yes, I will. After the show today, I'll look into it. Thanks, Major.
Evil Janice says, what's a Nintendo game released within the last 5 years that you would like to get The Last of Us treatment? That's 2 remakes in 10 years. The final installment with less features than the original, but it comes with a TV series you probably won't watch. My resolution actually was to just enjoy this chaos with The Last of Us becoming the most annoying video game franchise of all time, and I'm trying. There's so much fuel for it, Jeff. It's unbelievable. I mean, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild did not come out in the last 5 years. Shit, that's weird. Never mind. It doesn't count.
I know. I was at the party last night and I was thinking, Breath of the Wild is kind of an old game now. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. So let's man, I was about to say, like, we just mentioned 3. What would you possibly do to improve that? Although I would have maybe thought the same thing about Last of Us and they remade it anyways. Luigi's Mansion 3 is the Last of Us of Nintendo games, though, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It takes itself way too seriously, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Within the last 5 years. Yeah, like what came?
It's got to be like a funny answer somewhere. Or
I mean, 2017. I guess no, you're right. That's not Breath of the Wild anymore.
No, that's not Breath of the Wild. We can't say that, and we can't say Super Mario Odyssey somehow. Which again, is just all kinds of messed up.
I'll just say Kirby. I'll just say Kirby. Yeah, give me 2 of those.
Maybe they should remake Metroid Dread more, and hopefully more people will buy it. Evo Janice says, "Oh no, we just read." Bench JC says, "Hey dogs. Hopefully you had a good holiday. I'm getting a Steam Deck soon and really have missed most of Nintendo games before Wii. What game should I make sure to get around to? Well, before Wii, gosh. I mean, Super Metroid, Metroid Prime are 2
good
pretty
start
big.
There for sure, yeah.
Yeah, 2 pretty big
and then like
ones.
A lot of the Metroid handheld games, the Zero Mission and then Fusion.
Basically all the Metroid games that came out before Wii.
Yeah, definitely Metroid. And then before Wii. So
play Wario World for the GameCube.
There you go.
Severely underrated.
There you go. Wind Waker, of course. I mean, there's a whole bunch of big
F-Zero GX.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a famous Nintendo game that came before the Wii, you should probably play it.
Yeah, definitely.
Gaming in the Clinton year says Yusuke
Wave
Hashimoto.
Race. Play Wave Race.
Wave Race, yeah. Yusuke Hashimoto, the producer and director of Bayonetta 1 and 2 respectively, now works at Capcom. How long till Capcom makes Devil May Cry 6? Hopefully with his involvement. Was Capcom happy with the sales of Devil May Cry 5? They were very happy with the sales of Devil May Cry 5. I think Devil May Cry 5 did very well.
It was like the best-selling Devil May Cry, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
which new game, which every new entry in like a franchise like that should be.
Right.
But it did very good. Devil May Cry 6 will definitely be happening with that guy whose name I can't remember, who's been involved with that series for a while now. I don't know if that's what Hashimoto is going to be working on necessarily. But Devil May Cry 6 is absolutely going to happen. One Up vs. CPU says, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, and The Rock all made more money after shaving their head. There you go, Jeff. See?
Cool.
That's true.
Well, yeah, I was like, as this was happening, I was saying to myself, just like Stone Cold. Absolutely.
Just like Stone Cold. It's exactly the vibes you get. Way more Mick Foley than Stone Cold.
I preferred it when one person said Carl Urban last night, but Mick Foley's a beautiful man too. So no shade.
B Famer says, "Happy holidays, Mike. Must shave his head for lying about playing Earthbound this year." Minotti and Jeff, man, I've made a lot. I did a lot of lying this year. There's my New Year's resolution. I need to lie less. And Jeff, Nintendo are cowards for not localizing freshly pickled Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land Grubb.
They did localize it. They just released it in Europe and not in North America. So you can play it in English right now. There's ROMs out there in English from Nintendo.
So weird. What Christmas movie do you force your friends/family to watch during the holidays? My brothers and I watch Jingle All the Way every year and refuse to let the tradition die. I mean, I don't have to really force too many people to watch things, but I generally like to watch Muppet Christmas Carol at least once a year, especially this year. It was the 30th anniversary, and they had that restored version, that version that had that cut song back in it. So that was great. And then I'm a big Home Alone guy. Also, I like Claus a lot now on Netflix. That's the one I keep pushing on people to watch, just because a lot of people still haven't seen that.
Is it the one Claus with a K?
Yeah, the animated one.
Right.
That Netflix did a few years ago.
Klaus.
Very good.
Yeah.
Klaus. Yeah.
I don't have to force too many people to watch. I'm trying to get my kids into different kinds of movies because they always want to watch the same thing over and over. So kind of like, hey, watch Home Alone. And they're like, this is an adult movie. I'm like, no, guys, no, trust me, you'll enjoy this. But that's kind of I watch a lot of the Christmas movies, Jingle All the Way and Home Alone and Christmas Vacation and Scrooge and all those. Yeah, all those get watched pretty much every year.
My brothers had that same problem with their kids for a while. Where like it was just, it's not like when we were kids, Jeff, where there were just a lot of live action movies made for kids and for families. Like they don't really do that very much anymore. So like, they see live action and they're like, this isn't for me. This is weird. I don't like this. So yeah, but I don't know, around like 7 finally, it seems like, or even 5.
They one of them caught him this year, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Something they just started watching sort of on accident, and they watched the whole thing. And I'm like, see guys, but I still don't think they'd be like, oh no, now we get it. So yeah, probably gonna be a couple more years.
12/23/22 saved gaming Bob. That must be when Sports Story came out, huh?
Yes.
Woof woof to my dogs. Not a question, but I just want to give a special thank you for inadvertently helping pass the time as I was part of Southwest's massive cancellation wave. Oh, yeah, I have a friend who's stuck in Las Vegas right now because of that. Ended up having to make an impromptu 10-hour drive overnight through the back roads of Arizona and Utah in order to make work and other obligations on Tuesday in time.
Jeez.
The Game of the Year podcast helped me pass a third of the drive rather quickly. Thanks as always, and have a great year. Sounds like the other 2/3 of the drive did not pass very quickly. Well, sorry that happened, Pop, but what a fun adventure, right? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta make do with what you get sometimes. Jamie says, be honest, Jeff, how great was the first shower with short hair? Also, how would you feel if they announced the remake tomorrow? Jeff, just admit you haven't showered.
I showered as soon as I got home. I put on the same sweater again, but literally it was like 3:30, and I'm like, no, I want to feel what that feels. Also, I mean, a lot of clippings were still like in my hair, so I just wanted to go get cleaned off, and that was real nice. It felt very strange to have water going through my hair and like actually hitting my scalp. That was pretty wild.
Veggie Bob says in the chat that he passed the Grand Canyon in the dark and couldn't even see it.
That's annoying.
It's like rain on your wedding day. Wow.
Irony.
Yeah, Jeff, why don't they still announce that remake before the year ends? That'd be incredible.
That would just rule at this point. That would just be really funny.
I mean,
Bowser
to be
just
honest,
squaring up and kicking me in the nuts.
Yeah, we both like Metroid Prime so much that we would still primarily just be excited to play Metroid Prime. Jumpmat says, hey guys, nice surprise to see you're doing an episode today. Do you think game studios without IP are being undervalued? Next Level Games seems to be paying off for Nintendo, and Insomniac is the acquisition of the decade, even though the new Ratchet and Clank didn't set the world on fire. I mean, IP is definitely incredibly important these days.
Do you know what, if you bought a company, what can't leave when you buy it? IP. Well, the IP can't leave. The people who make the games can leave. So I don't think they're being undervalued. They are being correctly approximated for what the value of buying a whole bunch of talent is.
Yeah, well, he's saying studios that don't have IP are being undervalued.
Right, yeah. And I'm saying they're being properly valued because they don't have IP.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly right. Casual says, I just want to take this opportunity to let everyone know that I just finished and declared that this is in fact as immensely well made and fucking powerful as everyone said. Wait, finished what? You didn't, Mike. P.S. Mike, might you do a Dark Forces stream? Yes, I would like to do that. I got to beat Strider still. I played about half of that. So.
Oh man, I'm like hanging on edge over here trying to figure out what Casual just finished though.
Well, okay, stop saying the words finished and
no.
edge.
Did you finish?
Man, part of me wanted to guess Pentiment, but why would he be bringing it up on our Nintendo podcast? Right? He just left it out.
Powerful as everyone. Is it near?
I don't know. It must be something Nintendo, right? Let's just pretend it's High on Life.
Okay, yes, it's definitely High on Life. Dark Forces stream would be fun.
Deeply.
I want to do that new version that just dropped that everyone's playing.
What do you mean new version?
There's a big mod that just dropped for Dark Forces that makes it like really easily playable on modern PCs.
I thought you were talking about High on Life still. Yeah,
no,
absolutely. Yeah, but I absolutely plan on playing Dark Forces eventually because that would freaking rule. Fluffy Cloud Gamer says, "Happy end of 2022. Just wanted to thank you guys for a great year of podcasts. You guys are both absolutely hilarious." Yes, I agree. But also provide great insight in the industry. I also agree. And got me to checking out a few games as well. Return to McGowan and Yoshi's Island, both excellent. Those are very good video games. You're welcome. Looking forward to another year of the beef and cheddar dogs. Speaking of good games, Jeff, I noticed that your list on Giant Bomb was a bit different from your list that we did.
I actually wrote that before the list we did, and I did not update it. I meant to kind of go in and like maybe fix some things. I forgot Vampire Survivors on that one.
Yeah, you did.
And
I guess it's not that good. You just kind of forgot about it, man.
And then I forgot, the Case of the Golden Idol on my my Game S Decides one. So, oh well.
How bad is Dan?
These lists are like personal, so he probably is pretty mad. Actually, we'll see.
Did he get mad? He got mad at me yesterday. What it was? Oh, you videotaped me saying that I didn't like some game and sent it to him.
Yeah, but you got mad at him for putting Mega Man 2 above Mega Man 3, so really it was all fair.
It wasn't just that because he did his top 100. Look, Mega Man 2 is a fantastic game. It's still one of my favorite games. But Mega Man 3 wasn't on his list at all. Mega Man 2 was. Granted, Quackshot snuck in on his list like at like 99 or 98 or whatever, so I was pretty happy about that at least. So I'll forgive him. And then next up here is the Uncharted.
See what you said here.
Okay, you got the video? Yeah, you're like, repeat that.
Rock is one I've seen like the longest ago.
All right, so you what you like better than The Rock of those 3 movies?
Yeah, I asked because we watched Gone 60 Seconds before you showed up.
Yeah, that's right.
And I asked you what's your favorite of the Jerry Bruckheimer, Nick Cage 90s action movie trilogy. Gone 60 Seconds, The Rock, or a Con Air. You're a Con Air guy, which I respect. Fine. I like Gone 60 Seconds. I think The Rock is my least favorite of those 3. Still very good, but yeah, Dan loves The Rock, doesn't he?
That's wild though, because The Rock rules.
No, I love it too. I like Gone 60 Seconds a lot, and I think a lot of people wouldn't pick that one. It seems like, but I don't know. I like that one. See, look at this, like red. Jorge is that what I should say? Jorge there, right?
Let me roll down here.
Or just George.
Where are we at?
Jorge.
I mean, that's Jorge, chat. Yes, but I don't see that
like,
in the...
Gone 60 Seconds could have been better than it is. Nah, that's pretty good.
Oh, right.
I didn't know that's a remake.
Gone in 60 Seconds. I did know that, yes. I remember at the time that being surprising to me.
The Uncharted Wolf says,
ask Grubb how to pronounce things. Fuck you, Griff.
I'm just practicing
I know Jorge. I know that one.
The Uncharted Wolf says, "Hey, Jeff, ha, 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 ha. He lost his hair, ha, 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 ha. Grubb and Mike, Jeff lost his hair, ha, 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 ha. Been naughty. I've been playing Death Stranding and loving it, but as a delivery driver in real life, it hits very close to home. One character in the game said I shouldn't expect any likes from him because it's your job to do this. Ouch. Substitute this with tips, and this is a real conversation I've had with a customer. Oh, I believe that. What is the most the game has been similar to your job or real life circumstances? That's interesting. Man, because there aren't very many jobs about being a video game journalist, are there? Or many games about being a video game journalist. And when the games are about being a writer, I find very little to identify with that. The stereotype writer is such a strong stereotype that
life is just like Alan Wake.
Right, yeah. So yeah, usually it's a fiction writer anyways. Or if it's a journalist, they are like super journalisty journalists that I don't necessarily identify
swinging
with.
From buildings and yeah, it's weird.
When games are like set in small towns though, like that kind of stuff, I can identify with as long as they don't go overboard. Like it's weird because it's Japan, but Persona 4's small town vibes I kind of like jive with a lot. Kind of a weird thing for me to identify with the game about a Japanese high schoolers solving murder mysteries. But yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. I trying to think of any good answers to this, but I think I'm kind of the same where this job's kind of does not make for good video game fodder, so mostly it's been left out of the mechanics in many video games.
Chris just says Honey Pop 2. I don't think you know very much about Honey Pop 2.
But good answer.
Clearly, you didn't spell it right. So. Jedi Moss says, would it make more sense for Nintendo to wait till holiday 2024 to release the next hardware? An early 2024 release around March sounds more difficult since they don't want to risk their Switch holiday sales for 2023. This isn't 2016 when the Wii U was already effectively dead. I mean, maybe, but look, at some point those sales are going to slow down anyways because the stuff is getting ancient. And you're going to have a new Pokemon game or something to help out. Like at some point, you're going to have to accept, look, we might have like a slower holiday as we get ready for the next hardware thing. That's going to have to happen. What the most important thing is making sure you position the next hardware to succeed.
Yep, it's tough. There's no great way to time out this transition, so there's going to be sacrifices kind of no matter what they do. So I think they're just going to bite the bullet and probably do it early 2024 at this point. I keep going back and forth. I know, but it's hard. It's hard to like pin this stuff down. I think every time this comes up, we'll say it that I think they have a hard time picking a time frame for this. But yeah, early 2024 does seem still like the right time. Like getting all the way to late 2024, that's so far off. The Switch could feel so old by then. Yeah, that's rough.
Keywork says, sup, Nintendogs. Just got Emu Deck working 100% on my Steam Deck. What are some GameCube and Wii hidden gems you would recommend to play? I owned a GameCube along with an Xbox back then, so I have the big hitters covered, but I'm curious if you're aware of any deep cuts that are unique to those consoles. Thank a bunch. P.S. Thank you, Beefhammer, for helping me with my Yuzu. Yeah, so I brought up Wario World, which it's weird that would be a hidden gem. I mean, it's like, a Nintendo game, but people never talk about it. It's a Wario 3D platformer made by Treasure, and I think it's great. There's a lot of good James Bond games for the GameCube. There's Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, and like the From Russia with Love game and Everything or Nothing, I think it's called. Yeah. So those are worth checking out. Shrek Super Slam is like Power Stone, but with Shrek, and that's like actually not bad if you want to talk about deep cuts. So there you go. There's so many GameCube games that are worth checking out like that. I could probably go on and on, but those are some suggestions there. I don't know, Jess, do you have anything on the Wii side?
Yeah. I would definitely don't miss out on Punch Out. Punch Out was very good on the Wii, and then. Look, what I like to do recently, especially with the Analog Pocket, is look at games that actually didn't get released outside of Japan and recognize that almost all of them now have English language patches, and they're very easy to find. So a good one on the Wii is Captain Rainbow. It's got a lot of cool references to other Nintendo games. It's really strange, really weird. If you want to play it on PC, it actually plays really nice with a controller with keyboard and mouse. But everything on the Wii seems to run pretty well on the Steam Deck, and the controls have just been mapped for you, so you might as well give it a shot on there as well.
Chaos Buckaroo says, this time last year, Square Enix's president gave his whack-ass NFT message. Man, why can't they have a New Year's resolution to port any of Dragon Quest 4 to 9 to Switch? Make it make sense. God, that was like a year ago. Man, how times have changed. Do you think this is the year where like we really get to stop hearing about that shit?
Yeah,
there are still some investments happening and whatnot, I guess, and there are still some true believers out there. But it
feels like it's gonna be like really in its own orbit at this point in 2023. Yeah, I mean. I guess Square Enix is the one that did make a bunch of announcements, but did none of those win anywhere, right? So I better have all of them launched. So maybe some of those still have to launch and fizzle out before they really were like, all right, well, that didn't work.
Yeah, I guess you would think, but man, it just seems bizarre to me. I see G-Mancer is typing one up right now, so we're gonna give him a second here to figure to get that one in. Maybe you can read some of these super chats, actually, Jeff.
Yeah, I would love to. Let me see here. I will start down here with Mr. Nintenderic. Any suggestion for cheaper external capture cards? Just makes it a little bit bigger. Just wanted to stream PS5 Switch to friends I'm gaming with every once in a while on Discord. Yeah, I would like be willing to like go on to AliExpress or whatever, like and just kind of get a cheap no-name brand one if that's all you're doing. There is, I'm trying to remember the name of the company that did. There's one that's like they treat it as, oh, you can play your consoles on a laptop. And really what it is, it's a little capture card and a USB stick. It's like a Cam Link, but it's like a cheap little version of a Cam Link for $20 to $35. If all you're doing is streaming to friends on Discord, that's probably good enough. I think, is it Gecko that makes it? Something like that. Try something like that. But I mean, if you're willing to, just the AverMedia ones, go get a used AverMedia one on eBay and you'll be fine. All right, from Low Roll Legend, Grubb, are you ready to get crushed in fantasy football this weekend? The end is near. That's what they always say, and then they end up coming against the old grubby boy, and everyone falls before me, and not because I score a lot of points, because the other team fails. Because you gotta go against that Grubb luck, and it's has not failed me so far this season. I'm in the Super Bowl.
Just had his hair whacked off. Talking about Grubb luck. But yeah, that was
nothing to do with luck. That was just pure mistakes and miscalculations.
Now everyone was saying, "Oh, I was in last place," but the league was set up for a tournament for all the losers, and I passed the first round of that. So I was not in last place. So I will
finished the regular season in last place, and then you won some weirdo tournament. Sure, okay.
Well, look, I didn't set up the rules for the league, so I'm not last. I will not accept any kind of punishment.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I'm gonna win this Super Bowl. This is it. That's what's gonna happen. A couple more. Radu Paragol Taganas. Jeff, new Minotti Bro Grubb has joined the chat. And I don't think I look like a Minotti still. I don't know. You know what, though?
Not
At
really.
the party last night, where there was an old lady that twice was like, AJ, when I would turn around. So there you go. So maybe I do.
Yeah, that's great. That's Dave's aunt who always enjoys herself at Dave's party.
Shout out to Dave's aunt, by the way.
Yeah.
From Nick S. Did it happen to you as well? Did Steam Deck encroach upon your Nintendo Switch playtime? Nearly all third-party games are on Steam here on out. How about you? Yeah, I mean, I posted my Steam replay, you could see I played very many games on Steam this year, and a big part of that was the Steam Deck, for sure. How about you, Mike? You playing the Steam Deck or the Switch more?
I've been playing the Switch more because there's so much to catch up on, but I've been getting to the Steam Deck a bit more again, and there's a couple other things I want to be playing on there soon. I want to play some more Ace Combat 7. I actually got gifted Shadow Man remastered from Night Dive Studio, so I'm very excited to try that out on there. So
I was listening to the Fire Escape Game of the Year, and they were doing the game we forgot came out this year, or the least necessary remaster, I think it was. And they're like, Shadow Man, no one was asking for that. And I'm like, I kind of was. I kind of wanted to play that Shadow Man game for once and for all.
I was asking about it, but when they did, I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Cool. Good.
Finally, Kyle Martin. Jeff, you look great. Sorry if you've mentioned this. I got in late. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much colder is your head? It doesn't feel that much different in terms of temperature. I think it is just barely long enough that the Scottish thickness is still insulating my head mostly. So yeah, I feel pretty cozy still. So maybe a 2 or a 3.
Hey, thanks for those super chats, everybody. If you want to send in more, we will read them before the end of the show. I promise. And as we all learned today, my promises can be counted on. A couple more, too, that came in for podcast producers. Octo says, there's a Wikipedia page for the goat puzzle and broken sword. There's also 2 pages for puzzles in Gabriel Knight 3, one being the infamous fake mustache puzzle. Do you have any favorite silly, stupid Wikipedia wiki pages? Love my short-haired, messy boys. I was on a very stupid Wikipedia page last night because somebody had Inglourious Basterds on, which I never watched before, and there was some shootout scene, and some random bartender waitress got shot, and I have a weird empathy problem with that stuff where I was just very distraught. I can't believe this person just died in this movie who just was there. That's not fair. There was no narrative reason for I get really stuck up on it, like my friends were making fun of me, and like I found that character's Wikipedia page, some terrible thing, like trying to find meaning in her death. And I was just like, I'm terrible. That like was basically my night, my day was ruined. Like I felt so bad. And then like the rest of the movie, like 3 other women die. I was like, this is too much for me. I don't like this movie. I like when the Nazis get killed, but like that
weird, yeah, weird. That works better for you.
Then like the next movie they put on was Jaws, which is like the most. This is probably where I formatively like became uncomfortable watching women die in movies with that opening. So yeah, I'm a sensitive boy, Jeff.
Yeah, it's okay, Mikey. We get it.
What do you have any weird Wikipedia pages?
Nothing.
Honey Pop has a wiki.
Yeah, that's. There's nothing weird about that though. That's not weird or silly. So I mean, I don't remember them. I'm sure I've stumbled across a bunch, but none of them stick in my mind as like, oh, that's a weird one that I'll bring up at parties. That's not happening.
G-Man Sir says, hello, Mike Shrinkage Minotti. Jeez. And Jeff Grubb. When Nintendo refused to release a new game during the week of, before, or after the Mario movie, similar to how they give each game release its own space. You were talking on Game this Mornings or something about a rumor of a new 2D Mario game that might come out around the movie, right?
Yeah, in relation to the movie, but probably it seemed like a few months later, it seemed like based on that rumor, but I mean, who knows? It's just a rumor. I mean, if anything would come out around the same time as the movie, you'd think it would be something like that. But I think they probably mostly are going to give the movie its own space. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy because it's not like Nintendo has a game every week or something like that. So yeah, I think they'll give it some space.
All right, Jeff, why don't we take a short break here? We'll come back. We'll talk about our favorite memories of this show from the last year. And maybe talk a little bit about what we've been playing. Catch up on the super chats, and we'll call it a week here. How's that sound?
Sounds good. All right, I hit the button.
All right, we could. I'll go to the bathroom real quick. Then
he's gonna go to the bathroom, everybody. B. Traven, we'll talk about that super chat here in a moment. I did actually look into that a little bit. Seems, you know what? I'll get it up for Mike since he probably won't know what we're talking about there. Tears of the Kingdom. Potential ad for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom hints at some form of online functionality. I mean, is there any reason to assume it's like more than, oh, you might be able to, I was going to say like leave messages in the world like a From game, but I guess that would be a pretty big deal, wouldn't it? Yeah, like player messages would be kind of like, that would be really neat. Clouds, I mean, cloud saves, is that something that gets, yeah, do cloud saves count? Is what I would think. No, Versia, yes. I don't know. We will get to this, though. We'll discuss it.
Can you feel sunshine? I'm back.
All right, Mike, let's do this super chat from B. Traven as soon as you get back, and then we'll do the other stuff, all right?
Okay. All right, and we're back. Jeff, we have a super chat I know you want to read. Why don't you do that?
Yes, let's see. B. Traven here said, thoughts on the Tears of the Kingdom leak showing that it'll have online functionality. Sorry if you already answered earlier. We did not.
News to me.
Yes, so basically there is a little ad or a potential ad, as this Destructoid story puts it, where there's Tears of the Kingdom, and then they have all this sort of text at the bottom to say, oh, you know, it's got this and that. And one of the things is Nintendo Online or Nintendo Switch Online might be necessary for some element in the game. And so people are trying to figure out what could that possibly mean for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. People in chat were saying, hey, does that mean cloud saves? Is that all this could possibly be? I don't think that they would put the online emblem on an ad if it was just cloud saves. But at the same time, I don't think that this means online co-op. Do you have like any guess at what this could be?
I don't know. It makes me think of things like when Gravity Rush 2 had online stuff, and it was like, go here and like look at a picture of this area that this other player took, right? That kind of open world. I don't think we're gonna be like running around Hyrule with your friend.
Yeah. Do you think it could be, this is another popular one, like a player message system, like a From game?
Man, that's just weird to imagine that they would just literally lift that. Like I wouldn't mind it, but I don't know. Maybe it just summons Luigi and you can place balloons around for your friends to pop.
Yeah, there you go. Or the Miiverse comes back, but just in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. So you'd be like, hey, why can't Metroid crawl and stuff?
My main point here is I would lower your expectations.
Yeah, this is I might, if like I had to bet on anything, someone in chat said Nothing Burger, that would be my bet, that this is not going to be anything major, or if it is, it'll be very, very minor.
We got another super chat. Why don't we read that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get it primed up right here. From Burrito, Jeff left a new metal band to find God and become the real Mario brother Grubb. And Mike, F him, get a Chia Pet if you want to see me shaved so bad. Minotti.
I got my first ever Chia Pet for Christmas.
I've never had a Chia Pet. That's fun.
Me neither. It's the Bob Ross one.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see does this actually work? It must. These have been around forever. I assume they didn't work. They had to have stopped selling them at some point. Right?
Someone would have put an end to it. The FTC would have got a hold of them or something. Yeah,
right, exactly. So granted, they still sell moon rocks and stuff. So yeah, I guess you can sell whatever you want. But yes, I have a Chia Pet, so we'll see how that goes.
Thank you for that, Burrito. We appreciate it.
All right, Jeff. I asked our community to name their favorite last Nintendogs moment of 2022. I know me and you have bad memories for these kind of things, so why don't we just see what they all say about it?
I do have one.
You have one?
Yes.
Jeff, that's just shocking to me.
I figured you'd be pretty shocked. Yes. Hang on, let me...
Man, I am so proud.
Thank you very much. Let me get it primed here.
And he's prepared with a clip or something?
Yeah, I got a clip. All right, you ready? Hopefully the audio just works and everything. Let me see here.
Hey, good news for you, Jeff. Wave Race 64 is, in fact, the next Nintendo Switch online game.
What's this?
I can't hear anything.
What's this I hear? You can't hear it? Okay, it's the Wave Race 64 thing. When I get up and I dance around and I shout.
The best game coming this week!
Right.
It's happening,
Very excited.
Yay, it's good stuff. All right,
There's
there's one more moment in there where I say that I was playing with something like little or something, and then you just started cracking up because you thought.
Oh, I remember.
Yes,
that was great. Yeah.
That episode later. So that was another favorite moment.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
What's the community have to say?
Screaming Madden says, first was Benji Glaskey. Excuse me, Madden. Benji Glaskey was first. Says, when Christian said 9/13 was our 9/11, I do not remember this. It sounds problematic, though.
Is that when the direct happened?
Is that what? I don't know.
It's problematic, but oh well.
Screaming Madden says, when Mike got his Wario World instruction booklet out and asked Jeff if he knew Wario's bladder size, Jeff then asked, what's the metric? And Mike replied by saying gallons. Both Nintendogs proceeded to break. That was an incredible instruction.
That's still really funny to me.
Everything about Wario World is fantastic.
Gallons.
That's what I said. It was gallons. Gallons. Eva Jada says, when Mike said he'd be coming on everything. We'll allow it this time since you're just talking about history, right? Can't whitewash that. Brian said, I'm so sorry, Mike, but the Terranigma moment had me laughing uncontrollably in my parked car while out grocery shopping. It improved my mood considerably. What a close call for Mikey that was.
Right. That should have automatically beeped. I'm sorry, Terra. So we got to do that from now on. Yeah.
Jade says the line, what kind of games do you play if your sister lives in my head rent free? Oh yeah, that was me line stepping there. Turbo Scar says the reverse engineering of the audio file for Echo the Dolphin. This is my favorite moment. And then Mike having an article ready to go for the announcement. Who knew hyenas and dolphins sounded so similar?
If you slow them down, it's exactly the same.
Honorable mention to the 16 Vaporeon episode. What a sentence. For people who don't remember, remember that game that Sega teased with an audio file? And to me, it was like this crackling, and I was like, wait a second, this is like Star Trek 4.
It's like Star Trek 4.
Underwater. You have to Star Trek 4 this shit. So we slowed it down and convinced ourselves that it was dolphin.
We put it underwater.
And we were like, we did it. We cracked the code. It's a dolphin. They're bringing back Echo the Dolphin. And we were so sure of ourselves, and then it was that fucking hyenas game, and it was a hyena.
That game of the year, hyenas. Yeah, did that ever come out? I have no idea.
I hope it never comes.
Me too.
Infernal Tip says, "Mind Goblin." I cried laughing. God, what was Mind Goblin?
Mind Goblin Beast Nuts.
Yes! No, for crying
out loud! Yes, we got him again! Yes!
Again!
Yes! Yes!
Friendship again? What? Oh, we're crying out loud.
I was about to read that one but then I was like, wait, what if it happens again? Oh,
it did.
God, what a good podcast!
I really was like, what? No. Why don't I learn? Vision 49 says, the eating Pikachu's ass, but not the butthole part is definitely that I remember. That I remember well.
Sure, yeah, of course. Who could forget?
Lenny Kudik Denver. Oh, he has a timestamp. He says, last of the Nintendogs, episode 56 at 1:19:07, Jeffrey Grubb Grummington asked the most important question a game journalist ever asked. He said, and I quote, "Is Freakazoid Jewish?" Honorable mention to the recent discourse around Mike removing GameCube discs by using other GameCube discs as a clamp to remove the disc from the system. That makes me think of Talladega Nights when they're using the knife. The knife. Yeah. Casual says, I'm self-centered, so I'm going to say Mike losing it at the name Natalie Plorp.
That's a good name, though. It really is.
I don't know why. I think the name Natalie Plorpman is so funny.
The GameCube guy. What the fuck? Thank you, N48.
Epic Open World says, the way you guys owned up about being wrong about Zelda and Metroid, most folks don't own up to being wrong with that type of stuff. But you guys did, and I thought that was awesome.
Thank you.
I wonder what the alternate reality is like, where we just were like, yeah, whatever, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
Just made some bullshit. Yeah, we know they canceled at the last second. Sorry, guys. But
it was a joke. Don't you guys get jokes?
Yeah, something like that. Bench JC says, I think I said the same thing last year, but just when Mike is mad, it's always a fun time. Damn it. Haas says, surely it was the discovery of sexy Vaporeon forever changing a generation of kids. I'm still not very happy about this sexy Vaporeon business. Mr. Bohr says, I know we're all tired of talking about it by now, but the Nintendog episode that came out the day Microsoft announced their intent to buy Activision Blizzard was a great episode. We were all wondering what the hell just happened, and getting Jeff and Mike's take on it was very entertaining. And ironically enough, the topic of the episode was, what property do you wish Nintendo owned? I do remember that coincidence.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so funny how going to like early last year, and then with that, like we were still talking about acquisitions like crazy. Jeff.
Oh yes, acquisition season was in effect.
It was, and it was like, oh, it's never going to end. Well, it ended. Yeah. So, there you go. One Up versus CPU says, so Mike comes back from the bathroom and says something like, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to. It's too personal. I think my pee hole is too wide. It's unpredictable. I don't know which way it's going to go. 2 days later, on Game S decides he wants people writing questions and to stop talking about dicks because he wants to grow the female. Look, do as I say, not as I do, okay?
Oh, that's right. Special deck. Yeah, acquisition season was you're saying. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, well, pee hole is my saying.
My wide pee hole. It's Mike original.
Yeah. 12/23/22 saved gaming. Bob says the rant on folders that led to calling it a Switch Professional is even funnier now because there's no chance any of you even remembered folders exist on the Switch until reading this comment. No, I do not remember that. Beefhammer says, setting up Jeff and Mike Mind Goblin Minotti. Not a fly for it this time. The joke landed so well that it almost ended the episode as you two broke down laughing.
I've watched this myself.
The Uncharted Wolf says, it was awesome seeing how competitive you all got with my Metacritic prediction game, especially when Mike got High on Life score exactly right, and Mike said, you can suck my fecal matter. I'm excited to do it for 2023, and I'm wondering if I should do it for games every 3 months of the year, or the halfway point of the year. Hey, whenever you feel like, Wolf,
yeah,
it's your world, we're just living in it.
And we're here for it.
Gaming and Clinton Year says, my favorite is the day Jeff showed up looking like this. Oh, that's a funny picture.
Let me see.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What happened to this, man? That's the picture he took his headshots with? That's the haircut he went with?
I guess so, yeah. Lots of bad things happened to him.
even if I had finished the haircut just myself, it would have looked better than this man. I feel bad for this man. Maybe he listens. I don't look bad. We all have bad days.
Right,
I don't
sure,
even have hair.
Listen, we all know what you're trying to do there, and we appreciate it.
Chaos Buckaroo says, there are too many to list. Thanks for the great first year of Last Nintendogs, and here's to many more dolphin noises. Oh, my God. That's my favorite. It's a dolphin.
Yeah, that's very good. We were having so much fun, but we were pretty sure.
Yeah, like it was like funny to us, but I was convinced.
Yes.
I was absolutely convinced. G-Minster says, my favorite memory was baiting Mike into telling us his whole story. It made my mouth wide open. Oh, just like my whole. Octo says, Mike yelling at Jeff to shut the fuck up, Jeff, during the Final Fantasy 16 trailer when he said this looks stupid. Also, Friday Night Forkin' Mitch in.
Oh, man, that was a great moment for sure. Not a Nintendogs moment, but a moment of the year, maybe.
Mitch, yeah, that's good stuff. Oh, well, that was exciting. Jeff, before we get to the rest of these super chats, have you been playing anything Nintendo-y?
No, I was going to play Sports Story. I mean, I played Rocky on GameCube, and I played then I played Punch-Out. Yeah, Rocky on GameCube was always fun. It's the Tekken of boxing games. It's just like, all right, we're Virtual Fighter. I'm sorry. Which one has the, the 4 face buttons are just, kick or punch or whatever?
Would be, yeah. I'm not that familiar with my 3D fighting game knowledge is not as good as my 2D fighting game. I think
it's like Virtual Fighter, but it's just like a Rocky boxing game. There's a story mode, and you fight Spider Rico and a bunch of other ones that are like just mentioned offhandedly.
Spider Rico as the Glass Joe is fantastic.
Yes, and then you go and you fight Apollo Creed, and then you go through all 5 movies, I think. So from that were made at that point. I always really liked it a lot, and actually held up pretty well. It's a fun game. And then
GameCube games wish list. Here we go.
There you go. And then I played a little bit of just Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and that was fun to stream. But next up is definitely Sports Story. That's what I'm doing next.
Nice. I played Atari 50 for the first time. Now I didn't actually get to do much with the videos and stuff. I was just kind of messing around with some of the games.
That's still cool.
Here and there. That was fun. There was some weird shoot 'em up on Jaguar, whose name I can't remember. But for some reason, there was a screen, the mission screen with the text and a portrait of a lion in a captain's outfit. But it wasn't a humanized lion. It's just a lion's face. Right. I think his name was Captain McFur or something.
Yeah, totally.
And I was a big fan of that.
Yes.
So
love Captain McFur.
That stuck with me.
Trevor McFur, yeah.
Trevor McFur. So, but yes, I need to dig around in Atari 50 a bit more. But I was having fun with it.
Yes, it's a really well done collection.
It makes you wonder, what is going to happen when it is the 50th anniversary of the NES and things like that. How big of a something are we going to get for some of these? We everybody sort of bullshitted and pretended that 35th anniversary was actually a thing, right? Just to sell stuff.
Yeah, of course.
When 50th is actually a big deal. So I hope cool stuff happens when we get there.
Yeah, we're going to be at 50 years for Star Wars here pretty soon. We're going to be, and then once we get to 50 year of the next decade after that, it's 50 years for everything in the 80s, and it's going to be nonstop.
Yeah, it'll be basically like that for the rest of my life.
Yep.
All right, let's get the rest of these super chats, Jeff.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. We left off with, let's see here, burritos.
Burritos was last. Yeah.
Uriel Delgado. What if January 1st hits and Metroid Prime gets announced?
I mean, I'd be happy, man.
At this point, I just want it to happen because I want to play it, and also it'd just be nice. It'd be funny. I don't mind. The secret here is I was kind of always looking for an excuse to cut my hair. Not like I'm not going to keep it this way permanently. I'm going to grow it out again, but it had been so long. I was kind of looking forward to just having a reason to make it happen. So yeah, this is fine. And then Uriel Delgado comes back with use your rings of power will Metroid into existence. Of course, that was another great moment of the year. The rings of power.
Yes, yeah, it was on bonk. You're saying you want me to fuck Metroid Prime?
Yes, with an old existence. Wallet condom. Yes,
my old broken wallet condom. I ran my wallet through the wash by accident too. Don't worry, the rings of power were long gone.
That does it for the super chats.
All right then, Jeff. I guess that's gonna do it. We'll figure out when we're gonna do Game as Decides some point tomorrow or Friday. Again, we're it's more vacation-y mode a little bit here. So
yeah, we got a bunch of people's games of the year from the community. We'll go through all those, and that'll probably be most of the episodes. To have those conversations.
Should we do a Hall of Fame poll?
Yeah, we'll come up with that. I'll come up with that. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay, we'll do that too. All right, everyone. Well, then, thank you so much for listening to Last of the Nintendogs. Jeff, when does Giant Bomb work start up again?
Let's see. The first day of the year we're off, right? Because that's Monday the 2nd. So we'll be back on Tuesday with Bombcast on the 3rd.
Nice. We got the poll has started for Game Club in January. It's all the past losers of the last 3 months. So it is Proteus, Myst, Hotline Miami, Grease, Resident Evil, and Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. You get to vote for 2 of those. So we'll figure out what we're playing there soon. We'll be scheduling our call for Strider kind of at the beginning of the year. We want everybody to enjoy the rest of the holiday here. So fun stuff to look forward to.
The outro music's playing, Mike. I don't think you're hearing it, actually.
No, I can't.
Okay.
Bye.
What? Bye, everybody. Wait, it's not actually playing us out, so if you want to tell people where to find your other podcast.
That's what I thought you meant. I thought you meant it was playing us out. Yes.
Yeah, stop playing us. Not quite. It will be soon, though, so go fast.
Gotta go fast. Sonic the Hedgehog, he likes to go fast, and he also likes to say hi to your mother.